Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple here again, and coming back with part 2 of the review of our 2016 Australian CR1M ration, menu number A. And this has been a fantastic ration thus far. I did the, unpacking or unboxing, whatever you want to call it, and the breakfast with part 1. And now we'll move on to our next meal. So just for the sake of time, sort of lay out all the items that I planned on having for this meal this time already, instead of going through each individual one and then unpacking them again. What's left in the package, of course, will end up being on our last meal, supper. I guess we'll call this dinner, lunch. I guess whatever part of the world you're in, and whatever term you like to use for your midday meal. Got a good selection of stuff here. Got our hearty beef stew for the main entree, sports drink powder, tropical flavor. Got ourselves a fruit cake for dessert, and we're going to try out that chocolate ration. Let's see if it's, turned into a big white blob of bloom or not. Creamy chicken soup, maybe a little bit of black pepper to go with the beef stew or the soup if it needs it. Our CR1M shovel spoon, and some yeast extract, basically Vegemite, just to try it out on its own. And maybe the beef stew could use a little tiny bit of it mixed in. We'll see. So yeah, first we're going to get the main heated up, and then we will move around everything else on the table. Be back in 1 second. Alright, next thing we'll do, I think, is just get our drink mixed up. It claims this is good for anywhere from 500 mils to 1,000 mils. This glass probably can't even hold 500, but it's pretty close, I think. So we'll mix this up first and see how it looks. It's got a good tear notch at the top. It's got a lot of large granules in it. It has a fantastic tropical smell already sort of wafting off of it. So looking forward to this. It's got a really strong kind of mango pineapple kind of mix going on. It's got a really nice, the camera seems to be showing it a little bit brighter than what it is in real life. It's got almost like a peachy orange kind of hue to it. I know on the camera it's got a bit more of a yellow kind of look to it, but that's just the nature, I guess, of the light source coming in through the patio doors. Just give it a good mix. That seems to be dissolving really well. I think it's pretty much dissolved already, so that's a good sign. So lay that off to the side. Next, let's open up our fruitcake. It's got two different sets of tear notches. It's got one that runs this way. It's got the start of a tear notch here, but then no corresponding tear notch on this side. It's a little strange, but we'll try it this way. Seemed to work pretty well. And that's a word I like to use a lot. That's got quite a sheen on it. It's got a really oily exterior. And it probably doesn't look the greatest, but it smells fantastic. It smells like what you would call, old-fashioned kind of dark rum fruitcake. Break it apart. See, it's lots of raisins, sultanas, that sort of thing. You can certainly really smell the allspice and the nutmeg. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to have to wash up a little bit. This is incredibly oily. Next we'll get the creamy chicken soup going. It says about 250 mils of boiling water. got that standard chicken soup kind of smell to it. It's got flecks of what looks like maybe green peppers or green onions, maybe a little bit of carrot, croutons, whatnot. Easiest thing to do, I'll just go get some hot water from the Keurig. That's the quickest way to do this, so back in 1 second. And there we go. A little bit of hot water. Let's give this a nice stir. It's a little bit clumpy. See if we can sort of mix that in a little bit better. You can easily see now the croutons that are in here. Pieces of carrot. Little flecks of, I guess I don't know if it's parsley or something like that. Get a little bit of a celery smell off of it as well. But that could be one of the ingredients that's in it. It's starting to thicken up already. So yeah, we'll lay that off to the side. Let that do its thing. Alright, so what else we have? Well, let's just open up our chocolate ration, I guess. This is really what I've been waiting for the most of anything of this ration, just to see if I was maybe one of those lucky few who gets a CR1M chocolate ration and it ends up actually being somewhat close to normal. So without delaying the point anymore, let's give it a look. And well, this looks actually, compared to others I have seen, this is actually pretty good. It does certainly have bloom, but it looks more like real milk chocolate as opposed to just, you know, a white piece of something. So let's just snap it apart. Oh yeah. It's got a nice cross section. This looks great. I'm quite surprised. This must have been stored very well. It's a good sign. And I guess basically what else we have is just waiting for the main to finish heating up. Just one final thing, I guess. We'll open up our Vegemite. Now, this will be my first time ever trying Vegemite. I've had Marmite before. It's somewhat similar. Sort of a mixed reaction, I guess is the best way to put it. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to give this a try. I know, of course, this is a byproduct of the beer making process. It's rich in B vitamins, things like that, and it's incredibly salty. But once again, it's another reason why I find it strange that there was no biscuits or anything, crackers in the ration. We literally only have one piece of bread, and there's like, you know, several spreads to go around for it. So it's a little odd why they would have all that. But let's just give this yeast extract or Vegemite a little try. It's not the greatest thing I've ever had before. It's certainly salty. Really, really hits you over the head, especially eating it like that, just straight out of the tube. If I had to say, it's probably a little bit stronger, I think I found, than Marmite. A lot more, I guess tart's not the right word to use, but the saltiness, the brininess, perhaps, really, really hits you. I'm sure that would be perfect. You know, spread it on some whole wheat crackers or something like that, or maybe with the bread, but I'm going to save the bread for the other meal. So yeah, that's actually, it's not bad. I wouldn't want to be tied to it, as my grandfather used to say, but it's pretty good actually. I guess better than I expected is probably the best way to put it. Alright, gonna go see if the main is ready to go, and then we'll get that plated up and give everything a try. Alright, so we've got the main here. We just had it boiling in some water. Seems like it's nice and piping. That's a good sign. So let's give this a try. Well, that looks and smells fantastic. You can easily see pieces of potato, red pepper, carrot, I guess, green pepper, onion. So yeah, this certainly fits with the name they gave it. It certainly is hearty. There's a lot of fat on the beef. It's certainly a very fatty cut of beef they're using. So yeah, it smells great. So yeah, not a huge meal. We got ourselves our fruitcake and our creamy chicken soup, main, some chocolate, bit of yeast extract, some pepper if need be, and our tropical drink. So maybe to get the taste of that Vegemite off my palate, let's just give this tropical drink a try first. Ooh, wow. Yeah, it says it's good for anywhere between 500 and 1,000 mils, and probably need a little bit more water than what I can get into that glass. That's incredibly strong, but it's really nice. Really, really tart. You can really taste the... I'm sure it's probably artificial, but you can really taste the pineapple and the mango they're going for. It's the smell I was getting is exactly the taste that you end up getting. So it's not too bad actually. Just I needed it in a larger vessel, I guess is the best way to put it. Let's try out our main. I guess that's the thing I'm really looking forward to the most here, aside from seeing what the chocolate really tastes like. But trying to get a little bit of everything. So we've got some red pepper and some carrot, some potatoes, beef. Looks really nice. And yeah, that tastes a lot like just sort of a standard canned beef stew you would get in any shop. You know, not to say that's a bad thing. Some people really, really enjoy that. It's got a lot of nice sort of flavors. It's kind of hard to pick up on any discerning individual flavor of the actual vegetables. It all just has that, you know, overall permeating canned beef stew kind of taste. But it does it well. It could use a little black pepper. I usually like black pepper in a lot of things. Remember, this is 2 grams of black pepper, so that's a fair amount of black pepper. So this is going to last a long time. And let's give this a try. Oh yeah, that black pepper really makes a big difference. Certainly adds to it. Not to say that it didn't taste good to start with, but this sort of puts it up a couple notches. Just for the sake of trying it, I'm going to put a little bit of Vegemite in here and mix it up. If I can get it to fall off. I know I've seen lots of recipes that call for making like a beef stew or a beef pot pie using either Marmite or Vegemite. So it's going to be interesting to see what this does to it. So yeah, a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of Vegemite. Try to get it all on here. Let's give that a try, see how this goes. I wouldn't say it makes it better, but it certainly adds a nice big kick of salt to that stew. I probably wouldn't try it. Who knows? Maybe I put way too much in for the actual amount I'm eating. It's probably something that you're supposed to use kind of sparingly, but it's not bad. I don't think it made it any better than it already was. Let's give our soup another stir. So as you can see, got some croutons and whatnot. I mean, there's no actual piece of chicken in here, but it's just, you know, just that chicken stock kind of smell and taste. So let's give this a little try. It's probably easier just to take it straight from the glass. Oh wow, that's amazing. I'm really surprised by that. I don't know how, but the croutons are actually still crunchy. It's a soup. It's been sitting in water for however many minutes. And the little crouton pieces, when you bite into them, they're actually still crispy in the center. So that's amazing. This has a great taste. The creaminess really comes through as opposed to just being sort of a standard chicken noodle kind of soup. That, you know, the cream being there as well really adds to the whole experience. It's this is amazing actually. You don't get a whole lot of soups sometimes in military rations. And this is a nice addition, I must say. I'm quite surprised, actually, by how much I enjoy it. Let's give the fruitcake a try now. As you can see, once again, just a slab of fruitcake. Looks very similar to what the old style US MREs used to actually have a fruitcake as well. Looks pretty similar to that. See the nice raisins and everything. So yeah, let's give this a bite. The exterior seems rather dense, and it's got a lot of moisture. And then you bite into it, and the inside is actually very airy and a little tiny bit dry. It's a little tiny bit drier than what I expected it to be. Considering how wet the outside of it looks. But all in all, it's not bad. It's not particularly sweet, but you are getting that nice flavor of cinnamon, nutmeg, maybe allspice, cloves, that sort of mix. It's a very standard kind of fruitcake kind of taste that you make fruitcake around Christmas or whatever. But yeah, it's really good actually. I'm going to enjoy having that after. And the last thing we have, guys, is of course our chocolate ration. And I'm very surprised that it's, actually more like real chocolate than just a white blob of something. But let's give it a try. See if the flavor's been affected in any way. Well, that's fairly good chocolate for a military ration. It's certainly got a low cocoa count. It's not particularly dark or bitter. It's not particularly sweet either, I guess is the right word to use. It's not sickly sweet. It's got the right amount of sweetness to it. You can tell it's certainly a milk chocolate. It's a little tiny bit dry, but I mean, to make something shelf stable, it's going to last for a long time in any temperature. I guess they need to make it like that so that it doesn't melt away. Australia being Australia, it's can be certainly a hot country at times. Not a whole lot of Arctic conditions there, so it's actually pretty good. I'm very happy that I got a chocolate ration that was actually looked sensible and tasted good and was in great shape. So all in all, this is shaped up to be one of the best rations I've ever had. Everything so far has tasted great. Even the Vegemite's been, as good as it can be, is the best way to say it. So yeah, guys, this has been lunch, dinner, whatever you want to call it, and get back to you guys as quick as I can with the final meal, supper. All right, everybody, coming back now with supper, and now it's all laid out. I realize that probably could have had a little bit more components to eat during the last meal, but I guess for this day we're going to end up having a larger supper than we did a dinner. We've got ourselves our bread. I'm going to try out our bag of cheese. Use the old Fred to open that. Plum jam left over like we had from breakfast. Got some Migorian noodles, so we're going to mix up. Our main, we got a Moroccan lamb and some freeze-dried rice to lay it on. Got a chocolate drink to go with it, and a packet of M&Ms for dessert. And I'm going to try out our peppermint Lifesavers. Now, there's a bunch of other components in the bag left over that either I'll just use myself at some other point, or I really don't have a whole lot of use for. Things like the coffee, packs of sugar and whatnot, it'll all just go into my extras random accessory bag that I keep. And things like the condensed milk, there's really nothing for me right now to put the condensed milk in or use. I probably could have used it in the breakfast meal in part 1 video to try with the tea, but I didn't. So that's that. I guess the first thing we're going to do is get our Moroccan lamb into some boiling water and warmed up. And I guess we can open up our freeze-dried rice and then get some boiling water in that, because it's gonna need some boiling water. So I'll go open this up, get some hot water from the Keurig, and then be back in a second. All right, so we got some boiling water put in our freeze-dried rice. We'll just lay it off to the side a little bit, and get some more items ready. So I guess next we'll get our chocolate drink mixed up. There's a lot of powder for 250 mils of water. So we'll see how this goes. Probably didn't make the hole in the bag big enough to pour it out quickly, but there we go. Wow, that is an incredible amount of powder. I'm actually wondering if the glass I have is actually big enough. So yeah, I'm gonna use hot water, I think, for this one. I usually wouldn't make hot chocolate. I usually just like cocoa powder with cold water, but I think I'll actually go with hot water this time, so be back in 1 second. Alright, so let's get this stirred up. It has an incredibly rich look to it, so that's a good sign. Get in the corners there and make sure there's no clumps left. And then we'll let that do its thing. Well, what do we have left? I guess what's going to be the most labor-intensive part. I guess we'll get that done now. So we'll do the MREinfo noodles. Got a little Pyrex bowl here just to sort of mix it up in, make it easier. Yeah, let's just open this up and have a look. So we've got, it's almost like a Mr. Noodles kind of thing, ramen thing. Got some flavoring packets here, some oils and whatnot. We also have a couple other sort of packets, so there's a lot of accessories to go with this. And we have the noodles themselves. So we're going to get some boiling water for these, and then we're going to cook these down a little bit, drain off the water completely, and then we're going to add all of our seasonings and oils and all that jazz. So back in 1 second. All right, while the main's still heating up and the noodles are sort of cooking, let's get the rest of this stuff sort of opened up. First of all, let's look at our bread. It's interesting. It's probably got the same kind of look, I think, as bread you would find in an IMP, Canadian IMP. It's going to be interesting just to see if it does actually look like that. And it's very similar, but I would say it's 10 times better. While it's gonna, I'm sure it'd be a lot like eating a big bread loaf. You know, the ends of the loaf. Usually the IMP bread kind of, for some reason, always ends up looking like it's been kept in the oven too long and it's burned a little bit. This is a perfect golden sort of color. This is nice and soft and fluffy. And if you... I think the easiest thing that I do, actually, is to try to slice this down the center to sort of make the most of it when we're going to use some different spreads. So yeah, let's just use our bread knife. Make sure I don't slice my hand open. There we have it. It's very bready, I suppose, you know, yeasty. It's nice and fluffy and everything. So that's looking pretty good. I'm interested to see how that turns out. Let's just open up our pack of M&Ms. I mean, you know, they're just M&Ms. It's probably not going to be a big surprise about them. But it'll be interesting to see, seeing that they are, you know, pretty much a year past its expiry date. It'll be interesting to see if they are actually still in good shape. And they look perfect. Maybe a little bit of fat separation on some of them. You can see the fat separation from the chocolate. Maybe starting to come through. So it's going to be interesting to see if they actually still taste good. But, you know. Let's open up our Lifesavers, just get a little look. So yeah, that pack was really tightly packed. Wasn't the easiest thing to open, but there we have it. Just looked like standard peppermint Lifesavers. So we'll just lay that off to the side. We'll try one of those at the end. And what do we got next? Well, let's get our bag of cheese opened up. Get a chance to use it our Fred. Now I've already used this Fred in one of my previous videos where I did like a historical look at American ration snacks and used it to open up a B unit and some peanut butter from the Vietnam War era from around 1968 or so. So let's see how easy this is to use. Takes a little knack to get used to it. Alright, that's enough. We'll just peel this back. And yeah, we've got what looks like, you know, a processed, soft, almost white kind of cheddar. Doesn't have that orangey cheddar look to it. It's very soft. And we've also got our plum jam that we'll try out as well. So I think the next thing we'll do is check on our noodles, see if the noodles themselves are actually cooked through, and then we'll get the rice and the main plated up as well. So let's get our noodles, I guess, ready to go. We've got what's called, I guess, sesame oil and a soy sauce, and then just a chili sauce, I guess is the way they describe it. Yeah, we've got seasoning liquid, sweet soy sauce, and chili sauce, and then also in this packet here we have seasoning powder and fried shallots. So 5 different things. I'm gonna throw them all in together. Actually, just use a scissors. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get out. And then we'll throw our dry ingredients in there, our seasoning powder and our fried shallots. This is kind of plumped up a lot. There we go. So let's just give this all a big stir now. Sort of beat up those pieces of powder a little bit. Now I have to say the smell coming off of that is amazing. It's got that great soy sauce and sesame oil, especially, kind of smell. It looks like it's going to be really, really flavorful. So I'm really looking forward to that. I guess the last thing we're going to do now is let's lay out our freeze-dried rice. Make a mess in the process, of course. And then let's get our main laid out. So remember, our main, once again, is Moroccan lamb. It's got lamb in it, and of course, as the name would say, it's got onion, chickpeas, sultanas, tomato paste, cumin, ginger, lemon juice, cinnamon, coriander. So yeah, it's got the potential to certainly be very, very tasty. You'd almost want to say, of course, it has an Indian sort of smell to it, but I mean, that's just the nature of it being almost like a curry-based kind of sauce. I mean, of course, Morocco is not India, but it has that sort of familiar kind of smell coming from it. So yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff here to try out. Now that I finally have it all here, I realize this is actually a fairly sizable meal. So yeah, let's just give the main a try first. Actually, let's just see if we can get a little bit of the freeze-dried rice on its own. That's too bad. I think I just left it sitting for far too long on its own. The rice itself has actually gotten a little bit cold, even though it had boiling water put in with it. Hopefully now, by the main sitting on here, it'll heat it up a little bit. So as we can see, this is like, you know, a red sort of reddish brown kind of sauce. A lot of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, whatever people want to call them, and then nice, seemingly tender, lean chunks of lamb. So let's get a nice little spoonful here with a little bit of everything on it. Give you a look. This smells amazing, and hopefully it tastes just as good. Oh wow, It's buttery. The chickpeas have, you know, their standard kind of little bit of bite to them. That lamb is so tender. Oh my. This is fantastic. Makes me wish I almost had some naan bread or something to go with it, something like that. But this is absolutely amazing for a military ration. To have something that tastes as good as this does, as an entree, this is amazing. I mean, full of flavor. You can pick up on the cinnamon and the coriander and the cumin, all those sort of spices. Like I said, it's very reminiscent of sort of an Indian kind of type of dish because the spices used are fairly similar to what you would find in you know, a Rogan Joe or something like that. This is amazing. I'm gonna have to kind of stop myself, I think, before I eat all of it and then don't get to anything else. I just can't get over how tender the lamb is. And it's lean, and yeah, I really can't say anything any more about it than just to say this is superb, utterly superb. It's amazing. Let's just give this chocolate drink a try, just to cleanse the palate a little bit. Ooh, that's a really nice, I guess cocoa beverage batter is probably the best way to put it. But it's really pleasant. It's got that just right amount of sweetness, not too sweet. It's got a really strong cocoa kind of flavor to it. Doesn't taste watered down. Sometimes I find US MRE cocoa beverage powder sometimes can taste like it's really watered down. This is just perfect. This is amazing. I guess the next thing we'll try probably is our noodles while they're still nice and warm. So remember, we've got a seasoning powder in here and fried shallots. We've also got I guess what they want to call a chili sauce and a soy sauce, but there's 5 different flavorings in here. And this just smells absolutely amazing. So let's try to get a nice heaping spoonful here and give this a try. This just keeps getting better and better. If I wasn't someone who was a big ramen person during my university days, but if there was ramen like this readily available, I think I would have eaten it all the time. That is fantastic. Just what a nice little addition to a ration. I know it's a little bit labor intensive, perhaps, and I think it really went well with the fact that I boiled the noodles first and then poured all the water off and then just added all the seasoning to the noodles itself. I think if this was like a watery noodle sort of meal you were having, I don't think it would taste quite as well. This really sort of concentrates it, and you're getting all those flavors. I mean, especially you're getting the soy sauce and the sesame oil, but you do at the end get that nice little sort of background sort of note of the shallots, sort of an oniony kind of flavor, and yeah, once again, much like the main, I can't say good enough things about this. This is fantastic. When you put all this together, this ration could go down as the best ration I think I've ever had. This might, how shall we say, unseat the Danish ration that was originally, as of now, #1 on my list. But I think we may have a new #1 now. What do we got left? Got ourselves our bread with our cheese and our jam, and you know, Lifesavers and M&Ms. Let's just try a little bit of the bread on its own. Remember, it's got that nice sort of golden color to it. Take a little piece off. That's amazing. This is almost 2 years old. It's about, you know, a few months shy of being 2 years old, and this tastes like fresh, like brand new, freshly baked bread. It's a little off-putting, perhaps, if you really stop and think about, like, how does bread that's that old still taste that way? But we'll put that out of our minds. Let's try a little bit of jam on this piece, and then we'll go to the cheese. So we got ourselves some plum jam here. Wow, what a combination! That fresh bread taste mixed with a really sweet but yet slightly tart plum jam. That's just an amazing combination. We'll try the cheese out next. Let's try it on its own first. We'll use our Fred to Try a little bit on its own. So of course, it's just a processed kind of cheddar cheese. It breaks apart fairly easy. It's nice and soft. It's not bad actually. It's very similar to a processed cheese spread we get here from a company called Balderson's. So it's very similar to that. It's also the same sort of look to it as well. It's kind of interesting. So let's just try it on some bread, and that goes perfectly together as well. The cheese, it's a little strong. It's got like a sharp cheddar kind of flavor to it. Not like a mild, probably like a medium. It's not quite up there as what you would call like an old style, like an old flavored cheddar, but it's got at least a medium kind of flavor to it, and it's somewhat easily spreadable, all that kind of stuff. So let's try our M&Ms now as a sort of end of the meal. Remember, there's a little bit of fat separation on some of these, so maybe the flavor might possibly be off a little tiny bit, but we'll see. And now, even though there's some fat separation, as you can see on the shells, that hasn't changed the flavor one bit. That's good. I mean, they're regular M&Ms. They're going to be great anyway. One final thing, I guess we'll just give the Lifesaver a little taste, and then we'll give sort of the final comments. And that's a really mild peppermint flavor. It's not a strong peppermint. It's not going to hit you over the head. But it's nice. It's sweet. It's a nice little sort of palate cleanser at the end of a meal kind of thing, to just make yourself feel a little bit fresher. So yeah, guys, this has been supper, the final meal, and the end to the whole review of our Australian CR1M menu number A. So yeah, this ends part 2. I was thinking of doing this in 3 parts, but I thought, no, let's just try to condense it into 2 and make it a little bit easier. So yeah, guys, this has been a fantastic ration. I have no problem in saying that this is now the best ration overall that I've had of anything so far that I've reviewed or tried on my own. So it's going to be interesting now to see if some other country can come along and unseat now the CR1M. So guys, thanks for stopping by and giving this review a watch. If you like it, leave a thumbs up, comment below, and if you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do that. So thanks a lot. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.